Scriptures from Revelation 17 and 18 tonight. And we're going to talk about the great mysterious Babylon. And you study that, there's a lot of people have ideals of what they think the mysterious Babylon is. There's different things, but we'll probably not read all of chapter 18, but we're going to read all of 17 and the first few verses of 18 because I think it goes along with it. So, uh, but like I said, this is talking about in the last days, and a lot of people have uh, ideas of what they think Babylon the Great is. One place here it calls mystery Babylon, and so uh, it's nobody exactly knows till we get to that point. But there's people that say they think it's. Hang on a minute, I'll tell you what a lot of people say. All right.
Where are you at?
Revelation 17, chapter 17. Uh, it says, this is just people's opinions. And it says in Revelation 17, Babylon or Babylon the Great represents a corrupt, unified, anti-God religious system that seduces the world and commits spiritual fornication through false teachings and pagan practices, leading to its own destruction. It is depicted as a whore riding a multi-headed beast, symbolizing a partnership between this false religious system and the powerful political entity of the Antichrist. The term Babylon itself signifies confusion and rebellion against God, with the ancient city serving as a historical backdrop for the end time symbolic system of idolatry and spiritual corruption. And one thing I was reading says a lot of people say it may be ancient Rome coming back into power. Uh, now, it for years I've always heard it taught and preached. Well, America's not in the Bible. You never read of America. Well, I've heard uh, there's people that study this and say they think the mysterious Babylon is America. And we're going to read in 17. It gives a great description of it, and it talks about it over here in the first of 18. And I guess we all can kind of read it and maybe see in our minds, does it sound like America? There's parts of it I think it makes me wonder. So if you got any comments or questions, don't care to ask. Revelation 17 and 1. And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show thee unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Now let's you, there's places, lots of places in the world that has many waters, but there is a lot of water in America, and I'm just using some of the descriptions here. We're going to talk about it. It says, I will show you the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abomination and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon, the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Now, let's stop here a minute. There's been uh, uh, those things that have went on all around the world. But for the last coming up on 250 years, have we not been considered, America been considered the greatest country in the world? We had all these freedoms. We had all these. We was had most business, most trade. We kind of was leader of the free world, you might say. But and it talks about. But of course, now let's think about this. How wicked has America gotten in that 250 years from where we started? There's always been sin here. We know this. But from the point of when the pilgrims and all them come over and we became established as a country in 1776 to where we are in 2025, how far have we went the other way into wickedness? And you think about that, and it says the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, decked with gold and precious stones, and having a cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Is that not one of the things that America's probably known for? You think about fornication and idolatry, adultery, and homosexuality and abortion, and we could say, and I understand all this is around the world, but I've seen a report not too long ago, and it was talking about uh, pornography. Like 65 or 70% of pornography comes out of the United States. It's distributed all over the world, but it's made here. So you think about that and think about all the things America does and leads and everything. I wouldn't want to be the leader in that category, but according to that study, we are. I wouldn't want to be the leader in abortions or in this or that. Now, has abortion slowed down? They've not completely stopped. I have that. Yes, I think since Roe v. Wade got turned over a few years ago, I think they have slowed down. A lot of those big abortion clinics have had to shut down because they're not getting the funding they once did. Not, but all these things that we think about that is uh, horrible. Uh, I can see a correlation between America. Is it? Am I saying this is America? No, I'm not. Is this a possibility that we're talking about America when we talk about the mysterious Babylon? Yes, it is. So, verse 6, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not, and yet is. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and one is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. So a lot of people's talking about that's probably the Antichrist. He comes, it's just for a short period of time, he's in control. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th and the 7th that goeth into perdition. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet, but received powers as kings, one heir with the beast. They have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. All through the book of Revelations, it talks about beasts and animals with horns, and we read of all these things and these the great harlot and all these it's all these sins that people have committed for years and years, and all this is coming to fruition that uh, uh, it's showing itself. But we're going to read here in just a moment about the victory of the Lamb, starting here with verse 14 through 18. It talks about the great victory and the Lamb, that being Christ. But has anybody got any comments or anything on this so far? Some people say it's a group of people. The Great Babylon is maybe not just one country. It's a group of people that collectively come together, um, and that could be true too. This is That's the reason it's called Mystery Babylon. We don't know exactly what it is, but we know that we see signs of things leading that way. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are without him are called and those that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. For God hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to grieve and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is the great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. And it says the woman that sawest, the great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. So there's going to be the Lamb, which is talking about Christ, King of kings and Lord of lords. He's going to win when it's all said and done. He's done defeated death, hell, and the grave when he arose on the third day. But there's going to be a great battle, and he's going to win the battle. And do I think as America we're going to see persecutions of the Christians before the end? Yes, I think that's something we're going to see come to fruition. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lighted with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Now, I mentioned a few weeks ago something that kind of ties into this. We talk about the Statue of Liberty. We know that was a gift from France to America, and it's supposed to be Lady Liberty, they say. Well, I read some. Now, this is not Bible per se, but I read some commentary that these people have studied the Greek and the Hebrew. And liberty, you take it back to its core word is Liberia, something. Anyways, the word that leads into liberty, and that was a goddess back in these times, a false goddess of fornication. So, a lot of people say that that gift that France gave us is a representation of that goddess from way back 2 or 3 thousand years ago that was the goddess of fornication. Whether it is, I don't know. But we know in our minds what it's supposed to mean is freedom and liberty. But some people say it's representing that of the great whore that we're talking about here. Is it? I don't know. Now, they do say the crown on the Statue of Liberty has 7 points. I don't know. I did read that. But it makes you often wonder. You see these things and you read these things. What I'm telling you is man's opinion, is not. But we're reading this and we see these things are coming to pass and they're going to pass. So, has anybody got any comments?
Like when we went and saw the Statue of Liberty, it wasn't, I don't know, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
In which I really thought I'd be super excited to see it, but it wasn't anything like I thought.
No, it wasn't. And I'd already studied some of this before we went, so maybe that changed my perspective of it. But it was neat to see something that big, I guess, but it wasn't. And if you look at it at the Statue of Liberty, there's a chain on her foot that is broken, a chain coming off the foot that's broken, and that's the commentary that I was reading said that they think that represents that the great whore being loosed. When it talks about being loosed, that chain being broken. Does it? I don't know. That's something for you to people to study and to figure out. But it is something to think about. Verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works, and the cup which she had filled to fill her double. How much she hath glorified herself, and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and now am now no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judgeth her. So, okay, if if let's just say if America is the great mysterious Babylon, it says it's going to fall. Whatever it is, if it's Rome, if it's us, if it's a multitude of people from different nations, whatever it is, it's going to fall for their sins one of these days, and it says it's going to be burnt and destroyed in one day. So, whatever the Babylon is, whoever it is, there's going to be a destroying of it for their sins against God. We'll go ahead and read some more verses. Verse 9. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived decorously with her shall bewail her and lamentate for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing not far off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, 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 that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in one hour is thy judgment come. So how if it's a country, a city, we don't know. It's a great place, and they had great power at one point. It says because we can see that, and all think about all these other countries that do deals with us, and how many deals have we done with countries? Whether it was good deals, bad deals, illegal deals, deals that wasn't honoring God. We all these other countries, and it's talking about that here. But it says, Alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in one hour is that it's destroyed in one hour, one day. Whoever it is. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. Now, do we make a lot of merchandise? Yes. Is a lot of other merchandise made other places? Yeah. So could it be somewhere else? Yeah. But I don't know. The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stone and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all thine wood and all manner of vessels of ivory and all manner of vessels of most precious wood and of brass and iron and marble and cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. And thy fruits of thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly and are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in one hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city? Well, we do a lot of trade on the out on the coast. You go out to California or you go out to the East Coast, there's big trades for barges and all that come in. So, could that be us? It could. And they cast dust upon their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city, and where were made rich, and all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness, for in 1 hour she is made desolate. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God hath avenged you on her. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone, and cast it into the sea, saying, Thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. And the voice of harpers and musicians and of pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee. And no craftsman or whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee, and the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. And in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints, and all that were slain upon the earth. So we see whatever it's described, whoever it's describing, whatever country, city, whatever it is in these 2 chapters, it's going to be destroyed in just a day's time. And it's because God is raining down judgment on them for their fornications and sins and things. And I think about that, verse 15, the merchant, these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off from the fear of her torment, weeping. How many people has become rich off the country of America? Think about that. There's been a lot of them. Any comments? So we'll quit there tonight. We done 17 and 18. And I'm not telling you that I know who it is, because I have no clue, but it makes you look and study, and maybe we need to dig a little. Over in the Old Testament in, let's see, what book is it? Might be a good one to go back and read. Ecclesiastes, I think that's it. Let me look and see. I had a little reference to it. No, it ain't Ecclesiastes. Maybe it's Exodus. It was chapter 37, whichever one it was. Maybe it was Exodus 37, but I don't think that was it. But anyways, over in Ezekiel 37, maybe that's it, Ezekiel. Yeah, Ezekiel 37 talks about the valley of dry bones and all that. And one commentary I read about tied them together. So that might be something that's good to get into, read Ezekiel 37. So, but all right. And 38 talks about the destruction of Gog. And people that know their history say that Gog is modern day Russia. So, dude, that's good reading right there to get into. Anybody got any comments or? All right. If not, we'll sing a song if you feel like standing. Number 246 in the Blue Book, 246. If you need to pray tonight, this altar's open.